Now, that was our first example. We have a second example. The code here is doing things that I had really never seen anybody try to do before, and that's one of the reasons we have this as an example. This was something that we rewrote as a common table expression, and I've got CTEs or something else we have in this particular class. But as part of the CTE, note that in our latest book, the Advanced SQL book, we have this example of how to rewrite code using a CTE, making it more efficient. We also have an example of a CTE running amok and rewriting it as a non-CTE to be more efficient. So take everything with a grain of salt. Case study number 2, some fascinating bad ways of doing things. We are fans of data-driven design. I love to be able to make changes in data and have behaviors of the code change appropriately. Anytime you try to push code back through QA, you're going through a process and waiting. At an extreme end, I was brought into a very large healthcare company in Utah a few years ago. They said, Jeff, we have a very narrow window. We've got a 4-week window. If we hit this, we can do our software upgrade, and if not, we can't. We have a problem with a particular query. Can you fix it? I looked at it, and there was a weird bug in the DBMS code causing a subquery not to materialize, but to be reissued over and over and over again, causing trillions and trillions of I/O. Well, I took a look at their code, and I said, you know, your code on your old system was running in about 27 seconds. If you rewrite it like this, it'll run in around 27 milliseconds. And I gave them the rewrite. And I said, this just circumvents the whole bug. You don't have to go through it, and the code is faster. And they said to me, Jeff, we understand that. The catch is it takes us 8 weeks to get something through QA, and we have a 4-week window to roll this out, so we simply can't get there from here. That one took me by surprise. Usually if it's a performance enhancement, they will rush things through, but this wasn't it. Or maybe it's simply that I tend to get dragged in when the performance problems are bad enough that people are willing to change the way they're doing things. So, this particular code had a lot of bad things in it, starting with their naming conventions. Right here on bullet line 2 is a table name. Open bracket underscore syncoms.orders.orderitem.product hyphen greater than syncoms.products.printer cartridge close bracket. Ouch. Who wants to type that 20 times? I don't. A table name looks like order item or printer cartridge or order item printer cartridge if, for example, it's a junction table between the two. This is special characters. It is way too long, and while it is legitimate and legal to name things this way, I want things that I can type. I don't want special characters in it. I don't want columns or tables or anything that needs special treatment because it means extra typing, and if there's extra typing, there's more typos and more time to execute. I think lazy programmers are the best programmers because they want to do the least amount of work to get the most amount of results, and I put myself in that category. Now, this particular code that they were trying to execute was fascinating. The guy who wrote this originally was, I'm looking for a politically correct way of saying idiot savant and not coming up with it. He was a genius in some ways, and in other ways was just completely unable to interact with human beings. He came up with a way, this is for a company that sells printer cartridges on the internet. So as we're looking at this, what happens is they are selling 6 printer cartridges for $109. They find out that their competitor is selling 6 cartridges for $108. So what do? They put a special out there. We'll sell you 6 for $105 plus give you a coupon for this, that, and the other thing. Now, when you're starting to put things out like that out there and people are asking for pricing, as they're starting to go in, we want to be able to come up with these specials and ideas relatively quickly. And he came up with the mechanism for putting all these things out there and picking up the specials based on the queries. And it was all data-driven, which I love. That's a fantastic way of getting there. Here's the problem. Every time somebody ran a search, the search ran in 9.5 seconds. Now, I don't know if you have my level of patience, but I've got the level of patience of a 2-year-old. If my searches are taking 9.5 seconds, I'm going to a different site. I'm going to assume the site is down, something is locked, blocked, but whatever it is, it's not working out well. Apparently, they found that out as well. Their research told them that they would net $75,000 per month for every second they dropped that query time. In comes me. In my normal flippant way, I said, I'll tell you what, don't pay me for the gig. Instead, just pay me a percentage of what I save you over the course of the next year. They said, no, Jeff, just fix the query. So what we did is we took the query that he had written, it's a set of queries actually, and changed it from pages and pages of bad code to a single, simple, common table expression that ran in about 1/4 of a second. Now, I prefer 23 milliseconds to 230 seconds, but there's just too much going on at the time, and when it came time to make it even faster, they decided they'd paid Jeff enough already. Now, since they only paid me for 2 days, that was a little bit aggressive, but life is like that.